Hi, everybody. This is Caroline, and I'm so happy and excited to talk to you about one of my absolutely favorite topics, how to create a soulful relationship. And as I already told you a little bit in the blog post today, you can create a soulful relationship and really a soulful life only if you already have a soulful relationship with yourself. You can't create anything outside of yourself that doesn't, to some extent, already exist inside of you. And so today I want to share 3 ways that you can start to have a more soulful relationship with yourself, which, by the way, the word soulful just gets me so jazzed. I can't even tell you. I just love the idea of creating a more deep and more meaningful and a more purpose-driven life in all areas. And again, starting with your relationship with yourself. All right, but on to my 3 suggestions for how you can start to create a more soulful relationship with yourself anytime and any moment. And my first suggestion for that is to begin to see yourself with gentle and kind eyes. And I know this is something that I talk a lot about in my blog posts, but I do think it is one of the most fundamental ways of accessing a more soulful way of interacting in the world. As long as we're denying parts of ourselves and don't, trying to push away certain parts of ourselves that we don't really love, we'll always be split. And so soulfulness has to come out of wholeness. And what that means for a lot of women, and what I talk to my clients a lot about, is experiencing the whole range of emotions. Sometimes I think it's so easy for us to sort of go on this happiness hunt where we just want to, have high after high after high. And we think that it's abnormal if we have times that are a little bit more subdued, a little bit slower, and we think something's wrong with us. And so I really want to encourage you to start to give yourself permission to experience the whole range of emotions and learning to see yourself with kindness, whether or not you're experiencing a high or whether or not you're going through a little bit of a lower and slower period in your life. My second suggestion is to really give yourself the time and space to do things you love. And especially when it comes to time, I know that so many people in our busy world are constantly obsessed with being productive. And I'm totally guilty of that myself, where I think that I'm not allowed to play until all of my work is done. And I've realized that my work is never going to be done. So we have to consciously make effort and time and the space in our life to play and to do the things that we absolutely love. And so for me, a big thing that I do that is totally not, productive in the traditional productive sense is reading. Like, some of the reading that I do doesn't have anything to do with my work, but I have to give myself permission pretty much every day to spend a little bit of time absorbing something and being 100% focused on something that brings me pleasure. Another big thing for me is painting. So for you, it might be any of those. It might be dancing. It might be, exercising, being outside. That's another huge one for me. Whatever it is, really give yourself the time and the permission to indulge in that and get into that flow state. Again, soul shows up when we're in complete sort of alignment with the energy around us. And so getting into this flow is really, really important in order for you to really meet yourself and hang out with yourself and be with yourself. So that's really, really important. And then the third one is a little bit of a funky one. But that's essentially really starting to play with your imagination. Your imagination is completely yours, and you can do in it whatever you want. And so something that I started doing a couple of years ago was that I came up with sort of like this alter ego, my favorite alter ego. And the reason I came up with that is because I, as a business owner, I can be very sort of strategic. Like, I'm planning my schedule, I'm planning all my client stuff, I'm planning group programs, I'm doing all of this stuff. And then there's this whole other side to Caroline, and the gypsy side of Caroline, which is what my husband calls it. But that is just as important to come out. And I was afraid to show that side of myself because again, I wasn't sure what that was going to look like and all this stuff. But by starting to engage into that in my imagination and to really imagine myself as this soulful being, whatever that means to you, more and more and more, it gave me sort of increased courage to live out that side of myself in my real life. And now I mean, I don't know what I would do without that side, because it really is the part of me that softens me, that tunes into my intuition, and that gives me such joy and pleasure in my relationship, again, with myself, but also very, very much so in my friendships, in my romantic relationship, in my work. It really is all grounded in this more soulful way of being, because I'm giving myself permission. And so use your imagination as a vehicle to get to that stage and to see what that would look like for yourself. All right, these are my three key recommendations for you to create a more soulful relationship with yourself, and I hope that you use them. Let me know how they go. I would love to hear from you, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.